Let's talk about it. Easter service in the black church. Boy, if it ain't a fashion show, a dramatic presentation, is a sermon, is all of it wrapped up into one. And I ain't even get to the crazy part yet. So, being in the black church my whole life, um, you start to realize that Easter is a exercise in religious fortitude. Okay, you have to have the strength to make it through. You're gonna start at sunrise, make it to a either a 11, 10 or 11 a.m. And back in the day when we was coming up, it was an afternoon presentation the way you did your Easter speeches and all that stuff. Okay, so that's how that happened back in the day. Nowadays they kind of just cut it short, and you have either sunrise and the regular service, and that's pretty much it. You don't do the afternoon, um, but neither here nor there. All right, so the reason why it's so important, Easter is basically one of the biggest, if not the biggest, services in the history of the church. Is Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day. And you decide which one is number one. But in my book, which one that brings everybody out, everybody comes out on Easter. The church is packed. You got to get there early to get your regular seat. If you don't, then you might get mad because somebody in your seat, somebody in your parking space. It's a whole bunch of things that can happen, but it happens, right? It is what it is. You're glad that the new people came out in some cases because they need to get right with the Lord, and this is the day they choose to do it. You can't get mad at that. It's not your fault. It's the day they chose. It just happens to be, again, one of the biggest days in the history of the church, okay? But in the black church, I'm telling you, you're going to get a number of things. You're going to get a show, okay? It's going to give you everything you want. You're going to get the drama of the Easter play. If you didn't get it on Good Friday, you're going to get it that morning, okay? You're going to get the kids doing their Easter speeches. And now for some of them, it's a good time. For most, it's an experience, whatever. I know for me personally, I did not like Easter speeches, okay? Um, I would practice them for weeks and weeks at a time, memorize it, get it down tight, get in front of the crowd, and forget I ever knew any other speech. I'm laughing about it now because I can laugh about it, but as a kid, I wasn't laughing. Well, I did. Like, I would start the speech off on a good note, get like 3/4 of the way through, look at my friends in the first and second row, and commence to start giggling. Couldn't get myself back together, therefore, I forgot where I was at. Boom. I get a sharp look from either. No, I get a sharp look from my grandma. Get a sharp look from my grandma, and then the tears flow. Everybody goes, "Oh," and then I have to walk off. It happened to me for many, many, many years. Um, and then one day when I was in I'd say about the fifth grade or so, I told myself, like, I'm gonna get through this speech. All right. Every year I get here and I mess up. I'm not messing up no more. I got through the speech, and you would have thought like I was President Obama or somebody. The church erupted in loud cheers and applause. And I was like, oh, that's what this feels like. And just walked off. Um, but you know what? I always seem to redeem myself though in the Easter play. I always got the role of Peter when I was a child, and then growing up, I ended up becoming a Roman soldier when we started doing the crucifixion of Christ. But I always redeemed myself. Like if I messed up on the speech, I knew that when it came to the Easter play, oh, I had my lines down packed as Peter. Okay, I was ready. I don't know why I couldn't get my speech right, but it just is what it is. Um, I mean, looking back on it, I kind of wish I did get my speech right because, bro, I don't, I don't like public speaking to this day, and it's probably because of that. But it is what it is. Here I am, right, doing a podcast online for people to see, and I don't really like public speaking. So you tell me what the problem is. Um, Let me see what else you get. Oh, the fashion piece of it all. Okay, so I always felt like, because again, I was in church a long time growing up, um, and I was in the choir when I was a young man, and when I was in the choir, And they would, the week before when you was in the rehearsals and whatnot, they would say what you were going to wear, right? And in most cases back then, my mom bought my clothes. So it was like, okay, I'm looking at her like, what you going to buy for me? Because they'd be like, oh, everybody's wearing pastels. And you a boy and you, 8, 9 years old, you got on a lilac shirt with, lilac and other bunch of colors in your tie, and you just looking at it like, why do I have this? And then when you get there, you see why you got on this lilac shirt, because somebody got a new dress and they, it's pastel and they wanted to wear it. Okay. And I always felt like that. I always felt every year when they brought up the colors or the color scheme, it was because somebody got a new dress and they wanted everybody to see it. Now, I could be wrong, but that's just the way I felt. Okay. And I was a kid. You can't really fault me for it. I had my own thought process, my own mind. Um, you know, it just was. But you're gonna see some fashion, okay? You're gonna see the couples that the wife picked out the clothes and the husband had to wear it and they matching down to the shoes. You're gonna see that. You're gonna see some regular stuff where people just come as you are. They came as they were. But you're gonna get the big hats. You probably get those every week, but this week especially, you're gonna get the big hats. You're gonna get the pastel colors. You're gonna get like I said, the matching outfits from the couples. You're gonna get the dude who got he got his new suit from K&G, his special. He wants you to see it, down to the matching shoes. It's just gonna be a lot of fashion going on. So if you're not ready for it, just kind of, avert your eyes and get ready. You're gonna see the color wheel. Let's put it like that. You're gonna see the color wheel during the service. Like I said, it tests your religious fortitude. You're going to be there a long time. So if you haven't been prepared for that, I'm sorry for you, but you're going to be there a while, okay? You're going to be there. If you get up sunrise probably starts at 6:30, maybe 7. And again, this is, not accurate times, but they might be. 6:37. Like I said, you probably go get breakfast after sunrise if they don't provide it for you. And you come back. Sunday school's 9. Service starts maybe at 10, like I said, 10 or 11. And then by the time you finish that service, it'd be about maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock on a good day if the pastor don't get in the groove. Now you talking longer. And then, like I said, back when I was younger, they did all the speeches and the plays and everything else in the afternoon. So you'd have to come back at 3:30. Your entire day was spent in that building, okay? You wasn't going to no Easter egg hunt. You wasn't going to no family dinner. You wasn't getting none of that. You was getting a full diet of church. You was getting a full diet of the Lord, and you just had to deal with it. It was nothing you could do about it, okay? You could argue as much as you wanted to. You was going. And in my case, I was always there. Front row, second row, somewhere in there in the mix, but I was in there. And then as an adult, working with the media team, you definitely was there. You was there. You felt like you was there from Good Friday through Easter into Monday. You felt like you never left, because truthfully, the whole week prior to, you was there. If they had a play rehearsal, choir rehearsal, any rehearsal of the sort, you was in the building providing a microphone. It's just what it is. Again, and you did it. You went through it. And like I said, people get there. They try to get there early, try to get their seat, because if you in their seat, boy, it's going to be a battle on your hands, and you have to deal with that. People been coming there all year. They sit in, the third pew on the right-hand side in the last seat of the row, and they like that seat, prefer that seat, and here comes a visitor. Don't know, and they sit in that seat. You want to see the attitude come off of their face when they see that person in their seat. Because who do you think you are being in my seat? Not realizing that it's really not your seat. You just get there every Sunday early and that's the seat you sit in. But they like their seat. So what do? Move somewhere else and let the visitors have a seat. Goodness gracious, people. Got to cut this out in the black church. It's not your assigned seat. Let somebody else have the seat for this week at least, because they probably won't come back either way. But Easter in the black church is a huge thing, especially the dinner after service. Um, Back in, those days, my grandma's house used to be full of people. It'd be full of food, good times, laughter, conversation, and all that. And it just, it was an all around good time. You just had to be there for the moment when, all that happened. It's including the services and stuff. It was a moment in time. You had to be there for it. Everybody was having a good time. Even when I messed up on my speeches, like I still, like I said, I redeemed myself with the play. People didn't let me live it down for a long time. They teased me about it. It is what it is. I got over it, got past it, and got better at it. That's why I'm doing this today. Got better at it. But listen, if you're at a church right now and you listen to this afterwards, I hope you had a fantastic Resurrection Sunday. They started that like in the mid '90s. It went from Easter to Resurrection Sunday, and it is what it is with that. That's a whole nother thing. But I hope you have a fantastic Easter. I hope you spread love, give love to your family, friends, etc. And I will talk to you soon. This is the I'm Not a Hater podcast, talking about black churches with Easter, or Easter in the black church. Peace and love. I'll talk to you soon.